So you're interested in what substances people are taking.
Oh, yes. I'm interested in, as human beings, um, this like constantly, I don't know if it's an addict thing, and I'm an addict and an alcoholic. Hi, I'm
I'm an
Amanda.
addict, an alcoholic also.
And in recovery. And I and hi.
Hi,
Hi
hi,
girl.
hey, how are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah, that's kind of the baseline is being okay.
I feel like these days asking people how are you doing is very loaded, and I don't like giving people a sort of platitude like get surviving, getting
Yeah,
through.
yeah.
I mean, those are true. I'm surviving. I'm getting through. I've been through.
No, but shit sucks. It's
Everything is terrible
and
right now.
it sucks being sober.
Oh my God, it's so boring.
It's awful and I hate it. And if I
It's
stop doing
so
it, I
boring.
will die.
It's so
And that's
boring.
the only reason I do it. And because I'm a worse person when I do it, when I
Oh,
am
yeah.
drinking and doing
I'm a
drugs.
nightmare. It's interesting that this is dawning on me. I've never seen you drunk or high,
Yeah,
and you have never seen me drunk or high.
I know.
But we know people,
I know. I can
or
only
people close to
imagine.
us who've seen.
You're awful enough like this that I can't imagine how bad of a person you are when you were inebriated. There were months when I don't know what I was saying to my college girlfriend, and months I was just on Xanax. I'm like, "Sub, baby." like, I'm like,
You up?
we should go watch Scandal at your place. I don't remember any of Scandal. I've seen all of it
I
though.
don't. I don't remember. I remember 2 seasons of The Wire. I know I watched all of it,
Yeah,
but I was not sober watching it, and there are like images from it that I remember, but mostly I don't remember. And the early days of Game of
well,
Thrones.
that's yeah. It sucks. I was in the depths of addiction during peak TV. So
Yeah, same.
I do not recall a lot of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I don't recall a lot of The Sopranos the first time I watched it, so I had to rewatch it again.
Oh,
But
like
I
while it
would
was airing?
no, no, no.
Oh, okay.
I was a child. I was a little
I don't know.
boy.
I started drinking at
Yeah,
14 years
yeah.
old. Sorry, mom.
I started at 13.
Cut that, cut that.
I, you don't want your mom
I
knowing.
said sorry, mom, and
Sorry,
it's
mom.
just like another dumb platitude.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry, me.
yeah.
Sorry, me. I'm sorry that I started putting alcohol in my body when I was like when I hadn't even hit puberty.
I know. I started everything young. It was nice for me to get it all out of the way. I was just like a little adult man at 13 having a Heineken, and
I was always jealous of my dad's Heinekens. I thought they smelled so good.
yeah, they were cool. They were cool. Nothing like being a 13-year-old having a Heineken and then having sex with another 13-year-old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was not having sex.
Yeah, it was cool. I was living like a 25-year-old man. Yeah.
Where were you getting was your dad or mom drinking
My
Heineken?
my parents were drinking
Or
it.
drinking Heineken? Okay.
And then my dad was working in New York a lot.
Yeah.
So my mom was there during the week and my dad was out of town.
This is very
So
like the 7-year itch.
yeah, during the week I could do whatever I want. My mom would my
Just
mom
get lit.
well, yeah, so my mom also an alcoholic, sober now, but she
Fantastic.
would be in bed early and I would grab a beer, make a gravity bong, rip it in my room, and then play World of Warcraft all night or go on chat roulette.
Oh my God, chat roulette.
And it really,
You're really aging yourself.
I know the alcohol and weed made me feel less encumbered.
Of course.
So I was able to get on there and kind of flex a little, act a little older. And did you ever do chat roulette?
I did. I was in like chat rooms it must have been on like AOL or
Yeah.
AIM. I don't know if it was chat roulette. But I remember like older gentlemen asking me like, age, sex, location.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah. I was just messaging Dave.
I was much younger than you, and I was just like, "Hey, baby." I remember being on there, and I was definitely a little tipsy, and
Sure.
I connected with this older Australian woman on there, and one thing led to another, and we were both naked. She was naked with me, a child, and she was an adult woman. And
Was there was
video,
wait,
video,
what?
yeah, on chat roulette, it randomly matched you.
There was video?
Yeah, it was like random Skype calls.
What was
You,
I doing?
you just got put with a random person on Skype, and we both got naked.
Whoa.
And then she started crying. And I think it's because she realized she's like, I'm naked in front of a child right now. And I was like, listen, baby, it's okay.
Okay, but she let you get naked before she realized that it was an issue?
Oh, yeah, yeah. But I don't know what goes on in Australia. I don't ask those kinds of questions.
It is a different place. I had an email exchange once with a witch in Australia.
Yeah.
She was, I don't know, she was referred to me because she's a witch medium, and I was interested in this moment in my life in speaking to a medium. And I messaged her about her schedule, and I was like, how about, how's September? And she was like, I will reach out to you in September if we are both still living on this earthly plane.
Okay. That's very witchy and very Australian.
And then we spoke. Nothing that she said came to be.
No.
But it was interesting.
Have you spoken to a witch since?
That's a really good question. No.
Have you gotten more spiritual since you got sober?
I have.
Okay.
That's something that I never would have. First of all, I never expected to be abstinent. Or, I mean, I kind of always, I guess I always knew because it ran in my family and because it was an issue, a huge problem for me at such a young age. I was like, I'm sure abstinence will be part of my path at some point, maybe, but not today, not tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll deal with it when it's really, really bad. And then after several, greatest hits of rock bottoms, eventually got there and did become spiritual because in AA there is, the God stuff, higher power stuff. And I had to surrender, as it were, and say, I am powerless over this disease. And, I have qualms about some of the language, it's a little old fashioned, and decided, I've been like a card carrying atheist my whole life.
Yeah. And
I was like, I have to believe in something bigger than myself. And so I do have a higher power, something that I define for myself that isn't necessarily, it's not a guy with a long white beard.
Yeah.
But you have, I think, if you only believe that there's this, then it's just, there's too much ego wrapped up in that, maybe. And so at some point I was like, who's to say? I don't know if there's something else, if there's something bigger. I'm not.
You're stupid.
Yeah. I'm just a human being.
We're all stupid.
There has to be something bigger than this. And so I think for me, it's just like a belief in some kind of benevolent energy.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I grew up Catholic and I would go to church on my own as a kid.
Oh, so you were not necessarily like being pulled to church by your parents?
No, I felt an obligation to go. So if they went in the morning and I wanted to, say they go Sunday morning, I would go Saturday night so that I wouldn't have to go Sunday morning and I could go out on Saturday night.
Okay.
So in high school, I would go to church, then I would go get fucked up after, and then sleep through Sunday morning because I was hungover. But I think after I got sober, I've released a lot of, I don't believe in the God stuff, but I do think there is more. Because there has to be.
There has to be.
There has to be, or else why the fuck am I doing this?
Why does it matter? Something better than this shit.
Yeah, I think it's I have to suffer for some reason. Life is all suffering, and it's
Buddhist.
Is that it?
That's a
Am I
Buddhist thing.
Buddhist? Okay, thank you.
It's also a.
I didn't know.
Yeah, that was. I think that was what Buddha said. Life is
suffering. Yeah, it is.
I'm sure John Lennon said that too.
Yeah, I'm sure he said a lot of stuff. Sure, he said a lot of stuff about women, which I won't bring up here. But listen, we love John Lennon.
John Lennon loved heroin.
Yeah, good for him.
I know. I never got there.
He wrote a lot of good music on it.
He wrote a lot of good music on it. A lot of artists. I mean. I hate to say it, a lot of artists do their best stuff on the hardest drugs.
I know.
And then they get clean and And then what?
I don't know if there's good sober art. Like,
Kendrick Lamar is sober
okay,
and he's making good art.
okay, but is his art a response to sobriety versus people whose
Hmm.
art is a response to substance?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's a really good question.
like I don't know if there's a good like someone gets sober and it's like, oh, they're making the best stuff of their career.
That's kind of why we're doing this.
Yeah, I wanted to do it because people don't talk about it, and if they do, it's generally in a
Depressing.
or woo-woo spiritual wellness bullshit
Or
that
it's here's how to do it. Here's how I did it. This is what you need to do.
yeah, and we will offer no advice.
Zero
Advice, zero science.
Not experts.
We won't try to sell you supplements.
Oh God, no. That's for the birds.
Though I do have an erectile dysfunction pill I'm working on.
Working on creating?
Yes.
Are you the Oppenheimer of
Yeah. It
erectile dysfunction?
It immediately gives you erectile dysfunction. If you take it, it will shrivel up your penis and it will be completely inoperable and you won't be able to use it anymore.
So we will try to sell you Dave's ED pills.
Yep. It's the first of its kind.
Will it be? I'm trying to think of what the opposite of like the blue pill would be. It would be like a.
Well, this pill is all sorts of fucked up. It's never the same
I just
color.
mean color. Oh,
it's
okay.
never the same color. We
It's
have
it's
not
like
got
Willy
that
Wonka.
down to a science.
It's just like it looks like a bunch of Skittles.
Yeah,
when
I
you
mean,
get-
it's essentially Prozac,
okay.
which that was one of the
That's-
first antidepressants I ever took.
Me too.
Yeah,
I think I was like 11. I was put on Prozac.
I took it while in the like height of alcoholism in college. So I never was able to give it a chance.
And
But
was the doctor like, don't drink alcohol while you're taking
oh yeah,
this?
yeah, and I was like,
Every single medication.
I was like, listen, doc,
You're like,
that's-
yeah, sure.
that's not going to happen. But it is
It's just like
true.
taking antibiotics when you're drunk.
Yeah, Prozac, it fucks up your sex drive.
All antidepressants,
yeah.
all SSRIs at least
Yeah.
do.
So I was just like, that's cool. I can get more fucked up now because sex wasn't on my mind.
the table.
Yeah. So I was just like, you don't have to be on. I was like, I can just turn everything off.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what it came down to for me was there's this Dennis Johnson book, and in it he writes from the point of view of an addict, and he was an addict himself. He was a heroin addict and alcoholic, but
I don't know Dennis Johnson.
he's a short story writer, really prolific short story writer that white dudes love him.
Okay.
They really
sort of a
love.
Don DeLillo,
In that vein, if you're
a Jonathan Franzen.
well, a little better
ladies
than
love
that.
Jonathan Franzen.
Ladies love Jonathan Franzen.
I did. for a
LL
while.
Cool J, that's what they call him. And he says about his substance use, he was like, it was a button I discovered that I could press and turn off the known world. And that's what it was for me, where it was like, I knew I had this superpower.
Yep.
And the superpower was I could shut off reality and I could take myself out of what was existing around me, the past, the present, and the future. And I would drink and I would take Xanax and that would be gone. But you would wake up and come out of it and reality would set in. And so you would repeat that cycle because you need to keep turning it off.
Yes.
And I think that's like the really enticing thing about being addicted to stuff is you exist as like two people and one of those people wants to turn off the world and the other one is actively trying to live in it because that is actually reality. You have to live with your actions and consequences, and the drunk the you on pills doesn't think you do.
Yeah.
You don't have to live with any consequences. Like, oh, so I was drunk when I did that. Or
Yes.
like, I was fucked up. Or like people justify it for you. Like your friends are like, they were just fucked up.
You were fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said this thing to me. You were in a blackout.
Yeah, yeah.
And sort of, what a great friend. Yeah. There's like this point where you have a few drinks or a few drinks and pills or a couple drinks and a couple lines of cocaine and you get to a place where you're like, I am my best self.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
my higher self.
Oh, yeah.
This is where I need to operate from all the time. Like I
Yeah.
used to think if I could just always be 2 drinks in, I could be social with everybody. I could get work done quickly. Meanwhile, the work is going to be shit. Creating any kind of art when you're
Oh,
like
yeah.
high is not necessarily going to be good art. Like the amount of shit that I wrote when I was drunk because I was like, I can only write when I'm
I would go to the library in
inebriated.
college and
Drunk?
drunk
Oh, yeah.
and try to write papers.
I would go to the gym drunk.
I had a 1.9 GPA though, so
That's for a second I couldn't remember if
it's
that's low or
very
high.
good. It's very good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really good.
No, you got me.
Yeah, no, it's good.
4 is high.
Yeah. And I would just I'd like turn in gibberish. Like there were some
Yeah.
ideas in there, but I was just like, I am killing this.
At my lowest point, I remember using like a bot online
yeah.
to write. And this is way before the existence of Chat GPT, just using like an online bot that you would pay to write a paper. And I
Yeah.
remember the teacher writing back to me and saying like, it seems like you didn't read the material. It seems like you maybe have a tenuous grasp on grammar and the English language
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
It was an online class, so she had never met me. And she, God,
You were like, I'm kind of like a
Shame. So
Bukowski
much
type
shame.
writer. This is just free
this
flowing
was
jazz.
stream of consciousness, baby.
Yeah.
I don't proofread.
Yeah,
I
this
don't
is
correct the
Beat
grammar.
Generation shit.
Oh my God.
And you're too elevated for her.
I barely graduated college.
Yeah, and you were doing theater.
Theater and lit.
Okay, fuck yeah.
Both things that lead to really lucrative
Yeah, I mean,
careers.
same. I was a creative writing major.
Okay.
Um,
That's more legit than theater major.
oh,
I
it's
guess.
legit.
I mean, my major is the arts with
Yeah.
a focus in theater and literature. And within literature, a focus on poetry.
Okay, very cool. This is all coming to make sense to me.
Oh, why? Because of the vest?
The vest, yeah.
In the last year, I've been thinking so much about, because after having some sobriety under the belt, I find myself starting to use my therapist word, sublimate.
Okay.
So the addiction starts to go elsewhere.
Yeah.
And it becomes sugar for a while, and it becomes sex, and it becomes food or lack or like starvation, or it becomes cigarettes, or it becomes fucking posting thirst traps.
Oh yeah.
Or because of the instant gratification of like getting a bunch of the fire emoji, and then 10 minutes later it's over and you're like, all right, what am I going to get high on next?
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, something that never goes away if you're an addict. And so I'm wondering.
No, it's water fills whatever vessel it's put in. It takes the shape.
Bingo. I took physics in high school.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah,
phenomenon.
you know about water.
I'm interested in, is this an addict thing? Is this a human thing? Just chasing the dopamine, chasing what am I going to get high on next? Is this something that all people are feeling, or is this something that I experience because I'm an alcoholic? That's what I'm after.
I think it's everyone, but I don't think everyone needs to stop their addictions.
Oh my God, no.
I needed to stop drinking and doing pills and snorting coke.
I'm really glad that you stopped all those things.
Because I would die.
Yeah.
But someone who's addicted to attention, like someone who's just like, I'm going to post on Instagram every day and make like a little bit of my titty out, like, and get that.
Are you talking about me?
No, I'm talking about myself. I'm going to post pictures in my underwear. It's like, this isn't going to kill me.
Right.
Like, it's a fine replacement.
That's true. That's the good news.
It's embarrassing.
It's really embarrassing.
But it's fine.
But it's not going to kill me, and it's not going to destroy my friendships or my relationship with my family yet.
No.
Just like eating a lot of sugar or drinking a lot of caffeine isn't going to, I'm not going to send out a text that blows up my entire career.
Yeah. No, but I think there's substance.
But it's embarrassing.
Substance abuse doesn't necessarily mean you have to get sober.
No. No.
And I think
also I love people who drink and are good at drinking, and people who use drugs.
Yeah.
Drugs are amazing.
I love a lot of drunks. I know a lot of people who should get sober.
Yeah,
They're
that's
not
a different
going
story.
to, but I like being around them.
Do you? It's hard for me.
Sometimes I like being around them. I went to a wedding 2 weeks ago, and
Cabo.
Cabo is beautiful, and a friend was so fucked up when we showed up at dinner. And I don't think they need to get sober. They just got really fucked up at this wedding. And
People at weddings, it's like people in college.
Yeah.
They just go for it. I don't know if is it like, the kids have a babysitter and
yeah, I think that's
we're
it.
taking a vacation from our real lives. So
He left. He was gone for 20 minutes. He showed back up at the table, more fucked up, and had one AirPod in. And I was like, this is incredible drunk guy behavior. Like
shit.
who could he have been calling? What could this have been? Like, he was like locked in. He shows up. He looks like Jack Nicholson courtside at a Lakers game. Like, his hair is disheveled. He has food all over himself.
Was he wearing sunglasses?
He was wearing sunglasses. His eyebrows were coming out of the top. And I'm like,
and he goes, "Hey, hi, how are you?"
yeah, I'm like, hey man, what's going on? And he just goes, life is good, man. I can fuck who I want when I want. And I'm like,
True.
rock on, man. You truly can. Can you scoot away from my girlfriend, please? Can you
give us like
yeah,
10 feet?
Yeah. So I think drunk people rock. People on drugs
Yeah.
rock.
To a certain, I mean, I'm okay with the thought of them being out there doing that. I'm not at a place yet where I can be around it and feel comfy.
Oh yeah, I don't like going to bars.
Bars, it's not my favorite thing, especially if they're loud and crowded. I think that's just getting older.
I didn't like going to bars when I was drinking though.
Well, same, because the bar's closed.
Yeah, and I just like, I didn't talk to people. I'd just get fucked up.
I would, yeah. And then there's that. Did you have the feeling of the rising panic as it gets closer, as they're like, last call, last call.
Oh yeah, and then you try
Fight or flight.
to find more booze.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, how much do I have in my apartment?
Yeah.
Or like, who here has like a dime bag I could get my hands on?
Well, that's what I would go back. I would take some NyQuil. I would get visited by my sleep paralysis demon.
Oh no!
I would wake up. I would wake up with the bed covered in pee all the time. It was always pee.
I never had a pee
and I never
issue.
really
I feel
washed
really lucky.
it.
Oh God, Dave.
Yeah, I didn't, because it was fine. I knew it would happen again.
Did you ever do the thing where you peed, like you pissed near the toilet, but it wasn't in the toilet? I had a boyfriend who would get drunk and then pee like in the hallway.
Yeah.
And I was like, the bathroom is right there.
No, I wouldn't get up. I would do it laying down.
I'm sure I pissed the bed at some point. I threw up in my bed.
Oh yeah, I threw up in my bed on my pillow. Same night I peed my bed.
Yeah.
And I threw away the pillow and I threw away the blanket. And
Good.
for the rest of the year, I slept in a sleeping bag on top of my mattress and used a bag of dirty laundry as my pillow.
This is one of the rock bottoms.
Yeah, I was 18 and I thought this was fine.
Well, yeah, at that point you're like, I'm 18, I'm living like a rock star.
Yeah.
This is not I'm not going to lose my job. And
No, I was living.
Or custody of my kids.
I was like Tommy Lee. Just like him.
Everybody wants to be Tommy Lee.
Sleeping in a sleeping bag in the middle of Ohio.
How much money would it take for you to relapse?
Today?
Yeah, today. I don't mean it changes all the time. So
yeah.
I mean, I don't mean in general. I mean this morning.
This morning, a Monday, I'm gainfully employed. Things are going okay.
Lucky you.
I know. I would say for me right now, one day for me to get blitzed, 25 grand. If Mr. Beast came by, and if he's doing a video where he's like, I'm giving $25,000 to 100 addicts to relapse, I would be one of them.
Oh my God.
I would be a part of Beast Games.
I'm so in.
To promote his new alcoholic Lunchables. I would do this.
That's right.
I would do this.
Lunchables. I'm in. I was going to say a lot lower than 25K.
Yeah.
I'm not in a good place.
Your life is worse than mine.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a good time to be in the entertainment industry in any capacity.
No.
It's dry. It's really dry.
Yeah.
Kind of like your vagina.
Yeah. No. No.
Laganja Estranja said that. Okay, so it's really dry. I was going to say, like, I was I was fluctuating between 5 and 10 grand.
Okay, if you're not getting into five figures,
I know it's bad, but I was thinking, here's the thing. And I'm talking about alcohol. To have a couple drinks, I know I can get sober again,
yeah,
but
easy.
I also don't know that that's true.
No,
Because, one drink becomes 50, becomes 100, becomes here I
Your
am
whole
again,
life.
back to being an alcoholic who's drinking.
Yeah,
Boy, that's really dark. But money sounds really great.
money sounds good. The chance to meet Mr. Beast sounds good.
I see. I don't know that that's part of it for me.
You don't know who Mr. Beast is.
I know who Mr. Beast is because I know you, and you've
Yeah.
talked about Mr. Beast.
I'll always talk about Mr. Beast.
Is Mr. Beast? Do you think he's the kind of man? I don't know his gender. Boy who is going to encourage people to give up their sobriety for his Lunchables brand?
I think he would do anything for views. He's currently unearthing ancient evils in the pyramids of Giza. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing right now, and I think he would happily make people fall off the wagon for some clicks, and I would happily be one of them if he offered me $25,000. And
if he flew me out to Giza, it's a dream of mine to see the pyramids. Art history nerd.
Yeah.
I would be there in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I'd do what I have to do.
Yeah.
Get on my knees,
If
do a shot.
Unlock some ancient evil in yourself.
Is he? Wait, how does he have access to going inside the pyramids?
He's in the pyramids. He's unlocking.
How do you get access to that?
Be Mr. Beast. He's unlocking ancient evils inside the pyramids of Giza as we speak.
So he's seeing the mummies.
He's opening sarcophagi.
Shut up.
Yeah, he's doing it all. He's in
What
little.
about the the little jars where they store the
pets?
No, where they store the organs.
Oh no, I didn't know about that. What, YouTubers do this?
Yeah. No, when they would mummify someone, they'd take out all their organs.
Yeah.
And each organ would go in this little ceremonial jar.
Yeah.
That was, I think, made of marble or something.
Okay.
And then maybe that's not what a sarcophagus is, but it's a word like that.
Okay. No, he's doing all this.
Is he? Oh my God! Do you think he's eating stuff?
He's eating stuff for sure. His name is Mr. Beast.
That's what I'm thinking. Is that he's ingesting this stuff?
Yeah. I want that actually brings me to something I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah.
Which is celebrity started alcohol brands, which weren't really a thing when I was drinking.
No,
Casamigos maybe had started, and that was the first one I recall.
That was an OG. Yeah.
But now it seems if you are a celebrity and you want to make some
you can't
cash,
really be a celebrity without an alcohol brand now.
I know, and it kind of sucks for the sober celebs where Tom Holland, who I don't know if he's sober, but he started a non-alcoholic beer company.
Okay.
And I think he's smart because he's like, people are drinking less and you're not going to be George Clooney. You're not going to be riding a motorcycle with Rand Gerber on an 18-wheeler encouraging everyone to want to drink your tequila.
Right. George Clooney could sell anything to anyone.
Yeah.
I
Dude
think
could sell pyramids to Mr. Beast.
he could sell the little jars of organs back to the mummies.
Yeah, for sure. But now it's like if you're a celebrity, you're putting on a big hat and you're starting a tequila, you're starting a...
I agree with Tom Holland that I think right now maybe where the money is at, not as much money as liquor companies, but non-alcoholic stuff is on the rise, which it wasn't when I got sober. I feel like we're sober at a good time.
Yeah.
Lots of bars have these spiritless elixirs.
Yeah.
There's this great in New York on I want to say it's on Mott Street. There's a place called Spirited Away that's just a non-alcoholic booze and wine store.
Okay.
There are several of those that have popped up. There are sober bars. They usually close within a couple of months because the overhead is just crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
they're not charging.
You can just order a Pepsi at a normal bar.
Yeah, you could just do that. That's true. But I like the idea of going to a bar where there aren't drunk people and having the bar experience and the a lot of drinking is about the ritual of opening the bottle of wine or tasting the whiskey and I haven't tasted any non-alcoholic ones that are, although the phony Negroni tastes
It's good.
just like a Negroni.
I've never had a Negroni, so I wouldn't know.
What?
Yeah, that's not what I was drinking.
You know what? I was drinking Negronis way before Negronis were drinking Negronis. Way before Negronis were
Before
the cool
Stanley
thing.
Tucci was making them.
Yeah, before Tucci was making Negronis. I'm talking like in 2007. I was going into bars with a fake ID, or yeah, I guess it would have been a fake ID at that point, and ordering Negronis, and bartenders were like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "It's 3 different kinds of liquor, and it tastes bitter and disgusting, and it gets you drunk.
Okay.
It's really good. It's vermouth, gin, Campari."
Orange? Is there an orange peel in there?
Yeah, there's maybe one other thing, but it's fucking delicious.
No,
Very Italiano.
I think there's a lot of money to be made if you're a celebrity to do non-alcoholic stuff.
Hey, I haven't looked at my phone this whole time.
Good for you.
This whole
Screen time, one of our major addictions.
Major.
And it contributes to a lot of other addictions. It's screen time, vanity, connection.
Doom scrolling, though, has been sorry, I didn't mean to gloss over the connection thing. That's very true.
No, you can doom scroll.
I'm just saying I've never thought it would be an issue for me. And lately I'm like, I got to watch my screen time and my social media time. It's getting out of hand. They're just like...
I have a tip for this.
Okay.
It's a very simple tip, and I'll show you.
Show me. I will say, I used to be someone who was good
Have 2 phones.
Oh.
And that way, your screen time is spread out over 2 phones.
You know,
so
Jacqueline Novak was just talking about this
better about
on her
it.
podcast.
So I have 4 hours of screen time on one phone, 4 hours on the other.
Oh, I thought you meant you have one. Do you have like social media is designated to one phone?
Oh no, they're
communication
same apps on both phones, but just so
Dave. Okay, so you just have. So do you just don't have to carry a phone from one room to the other?
Yeah, and so my screen time is low. Technically,
is not a real solution.
It is a solution. My screen time's lower than yours.
Okay, but here's what I'm proposing. I think this is what Jacqueline Novak was talking about on her podcast, Berlant and Novak, FKA Poog. She said she now has 2 phones. One is for communicating with people that she knows.
Okay.
The other is maybe for work and social media.
Yeah.
And she was also talking about working on an automated reply to texts that's like,
I'm not using my phone.
I'm only using this phone during these hours of these days. If you don't hear from me, that's why.
Yeah.
And I think maybe somebody needs to take it away from me.
Yeah, you need BlackBerry for bitches, iPhone for business.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Are they still making Blackberries?
Yeah. Yeah, I
could get back on that.
Yeah, just to text, just to talk with your girls.
Yes.
To communicate, and then iPhone strictly business.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
I gotta get off the thirst traps.
No, they're good.
No.
They are good. No, I like it. I mean, I didn't do any thirst trap stuff when I was drinking, because I didn't want people to see my life.
Yeah,
and I
no
didn't
shit.
like seeing myself. But now that I'm sober, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna post them. And I'm gonna get.
And you did the classic, got sober and decided to get ripped.
Yeah, but I was ripped when I was drinking.
How?
Just differently, because I wouldn't eat.
Oh,
so I
okay,
was a different type of ripped.
No, I'm mentally ill. I really enjoy mentally ill people.
Me too.
God, I'm so mentally ill.
I'm on Lexapro now.
I am also on Lexapro.
I've been on risperidone, which is a pre-schizophrenic medication.
Okay.
That I did not think I needed. But I got prescribed it while I was really fucked up, and I went into the psychiatrist, and I definitely was fucked up, and was like, I'm gonna fuck with this guy.
Okay, wait. I'm stuck on what is pre-schizophrenic? Like you haven't had an episode yet?
Yeah,
but
they're like you
coming?
might be schizo.
It's not genetic, is it?
What's schizophrenia?
Oh, I guess it is.
I don't know, but
I don't know. I have an uncle who was schizophrenic, and I've always been afraid of taking psychedelics because it can trigger
an episode.
An episode?
Yeah.
I I've dabbled in
Schizophrenia.
in schizophrenia and psychedelics, and haven't had an episode, but it's something I'm afraid of.
Yeah. No, I don't know what pre-schizophrenia really meant.
They're just like, it's coming.
And I did not like the diagnosis, so I barely took them. I think I'm talking to you right now. I'm not sure.
You're here. You're talking to me.
Okay, cool.
I see you.
Thank you for grounding me. Would you do psychedelics now? Is that part of your sobriety that some people think you can do mushrooms?
Yeah, you know what? I don't think I don't prescribe to the like, if you're sober, and you don't use anything, you don't do anything. I think that's should be a rule for some people, maybe.
Yeah.
Like for me, like pot was never something that I was addicted to.
Yeah.
So I don't like smoking pot. I don't like getting high in that way. It's just for babies.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Smoking weed.
Smoking weed is for babies.
Yeah. For his babies.
It was fun when I was doing it out of an apple in somebody's backyard when I was like a kid.
In the olden days.
But I don't enjoy the feeling. But in that way, if I were to like do a pot gummy, I don't feel that I'm in danger of like relapsing.
Yeah.
So I've a couple of times microdosed, which is, I don't know, a word that I also don't enjoy because it just means getting high. I've microdosed on mushrooms, but the feeling I had afterwards was like, I don't feel like a sober person.
Yeah.
I feel like
But is that guilt from AA? From a program that prescribes that you cannot? I think
it's also just guilt from, I'm the hardest on myself.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just guilt from being like, I'm not doing it right.
Yeah.
I'm fucking up. Like I want to do this right. And as long as I don't drink.
Yeah.
Or do coke.
Yeah.
Or, one of the many other substances I was hooked on, then I think I'm in the clear. And I'm interested in the benefits of mushrooms to depression or depressive people. I also thought about doing ketamine infusions for a while. And then Matthew Perry died. And that hit hard. And it made me like a little bit scared of the whole like doctor prescribed ketamine. Yeah.
I mean, I think doctors overprescribe people on almost everything.
Yeah. Propofol.
Yeah. When I was in 8th grade, I broke my femur.
Yeah.
And they prescribed me
oxycodone.
400 oxys.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, and I would take them.
Did you snort it?
No. Not really.
I snorted Vicodin once.
Yeah, I've done that, but these I would take, and then my friend got caught smoking weed in high school, and his parents started testing him. And he's like, "Can I just get some of those oxys?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's easier." Yeah, I'm like, "Come on, here." And he would pay me like $10 for a pill, and just like it seemed better than smoking weed. It seemed less.
Well, it's a lot more fun.
Less of a stigma. Like if my mom caught me with weed, she'd be freaked out. But if I was just
if you're shaking around a little bottle of oxy,
if I was just popping the pills the doctor gave me, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, and now like half of the country is hooked on pills.
I know. It's real scary. I feel really grateful that my coke addiction didn't coincide with this
fentanyl.
The fentanyl epidemic. Yeah. Now you snort one line of coke, you dead.
Yeah, I've had multiple friends who died from it.
Jesus, I'm sorry.
And it's very sad, and it's also like you're just kind of playing Russian roulette. Like it's an inevitable.
And the testers you can carry around are really only testing. It's not testing all of the cocaine you have. It's just whatever part it touches.
You need to test all the cocaine. You got to test it.
You got to just.
Yeah. We lost a lot of great people to fentanyl.
Learning to fly.
Yeah. Prince, Tom Petty, my good friend from college who was very racist.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out. Rest in peace. I do miss him. He was just very racist.
He was racist, but he was a fun guy.
But he was racist because he was on drugs, I think. Or he was on drugs because he was racist. I'm not sure. Chicken and the egg thing.
Sort of are they mutually exclusive?
Listen, he's dead, so no one can cancel him. Nothing can happen to him. It doesn't matter.
You canceled.
Yeah, you can't be mad at me for being friends with him anymore because he's gone.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
We don't talk about a lot of people die from alcohol abuse.
True.
It's a very insidious and slower acting disease. And I think that's why, people, you're not like going out one night and getting drunk and then dying. It's sort of it's like a slow death of the
Yeah.
liver and the brain and other organs. Like Amy Winehouse, right?
Yeah.
Was
Boozed
to death.
death.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
It's just also, I think there's just something about like ODing from, fentanyl, heroin. There's something that's very different about that story.
It's like a car crash.
Yes.
It's propulsive and fast.
Very much so. And it's like, oh, that person was really there was a real darkness in them. And then when somebody is slowly dying because they're a drunk, it's like a lot sadder and more pathetic.
Yeah.
Not to me, but at large, I think people view alcoholics as like smelly, messy, slow death. I don't really want to touch that.
Yeah. Well, the dying from an overdose, like if you speedball, that's like a car crash.
Yes.
And then the slow death of your body from alcoholism is like if you're pogo sticking towards a cliff. Like it's very silly. It's
you have a way with these similes.
Yeah, you're just like boing, boing, boing. It's embarrassing.
And everybody's calling to you, stop. You should probably slow down.
Yeah.
There's a cliff coming.
Yeah, and you're like, look at me go. 180,
and you're like,
360.
The cliff's not going to hurt me.
Yeah, no. You're just going boing, 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 boing.
Did you ever get a DUI?
No, I never got a DUI. I woke up in the hospital a bunch.
Me too.
But I never got a DUI.
Never got a DUI. I only woke up in the hospital once, actually, but when I overdosed on meth.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
By accident.
Yeah.
If you're going to get a DUI, what would be the worst song that could be playing on the radio while you get the DUI?
DUI, I'm queued up to my iPod.
Yeah.
Music blasting. It's turned all the way up. Whew. I'm
just thinking of what I'm usually listening to in the car, and it's bad.
In an ideal world, like what I'd be listening to is Feel Like Making Love by Bad Company.
I said what's the worst one?
I know, but this is ideal. I want to be cool. I want to be
making love. I know. You want that to be blasting while you just plow into or a semi plows into you.
Yeah, I'm just doing donuts on the interstate while that's playing. I mean, that's ideal for me.
Actually, my friend was in a car accident in high school, and she was so embarrassed that when she crashed it was like Moore Park in Laurel Canyon, she was blasting the song Rumors by Lindsay Lohan.
I had a friend who got a DUI.
I might be wrong on that.
DUI to Frank Ocean Nights, and the cops' lights started flashing when the beat switched. And I thought that was cinematic and beautiful.
Yeah, that feels very filmic.
Yeah, and he was like, I thought I was sober. He thought he was sober. And then he's like, when that beat switch happened and the lights came on, I was like, fuck. I drank 3 bottles of wine at that party.
Oof.
I should have got pulled over this time when I was driving. I had been blacked out at a party at a farmhouse in Maryland, and I was rummaging through this stranger's bag at the house because I heard he had LSD.
Oh,
and
cool.
I took it. I found the LSD and I took some. And I took it really late in the night, like 3 a.m. And at 6, I was still awake. And I realized I had to drive back to Virginia because it was my brother's birthday and there was going to be a birthday brunch. And so I was pretty drunk. I'm tripping balls. I get in my car, and to center myself while tripping, drive across state lines, I put on
from what state into
Maryland
what state?
To Virginia.
Okay.
I put on a Dimitri Martin stand-up special, which is a very fun one to put on because
of that time.
Dimitri Martin is a very visual comic, and it doesn't translate to audio. So he's like, "Look at my drawing," and I'm like, "I can see exactly what you're drawing, Dimitri. That is not enough to make me laugh, but I appreciate the humor." But
this was good LSD.
Yeah, I'm like, you're doing something very smart here.
Man, I never tried LSD. I wish I had.
It's cool.
I wish I could have tried LSD in the 70s or something.
You ever do 2CB?
What the hell is that?
2CB was a great drug I would do in college. That was a mix of LSD and Molly. And
Oh, okay. Oh,
every
okay.
time I did it, I felt like I was in hell. And
But in a good way?
no,
Oh, okay.
no, I did it at a Chainsmokers concert.
Oh,
And
well,
this
that's why you were in
I
hell.
saw this girl slip on beer at the bar and fall down and smash her teeth open. And it was a profoundly upsetting moment in my life that I
Ugh,
will always associate with the
with the
Chainsmokers.
Chainsmokers.
And I associate a lot of profoundly upsetting moments in my life with the Chainsmokers.
Oh,
So
yeah.
so it checks out.
Gun to my head. I could not name a Chainsmokers song.
Baby, hold me closer
Oh, in the backseat of your Rover.
Bite that tattoo on your shoulder. We are
Okay.
never getting older.
It's got like an Imagine Dragons vibe. I'm wrong on that. No, that's not true. Okay, here's what I would
In
want
the
playing
sense that
when
it's
I DUI.
good, yes.
When I DUI, I want D'Angelo's album Black Messiah.
Okay, fuck yeah.
Blasting.
That's a good one.
Blasting.
That's a good one.
I've been dancing around to that naked.
Yeah.
It's
That's
so
how you
good.
do it.
Here's another one.
If you put it on, your clothes evaporate.
Evaporate.
Yeah.
They just become so sweaty that
Yeah.
you got to take them off.
They just slink off you.
Here's what would though be playing. Probably Jonas Brothers.
Okay, cool.
That's what would have happened.
Burning Up.
Yeah, Love Bug.
That'd be a good one.
I'm a late in life Jonas Brothers fan. See, my little brother sort of grew up on their stuff, and then I watched them from afar while he would watch them on TV. I was a teenager and I was like, lame.
Yeah.
Then they had a resurgence.
Yeah, they're hot now.
Man, they have some great tunes.
Yeah.
Bangers. Not sober. I saw them in concert. They did shots.
Okay, that's cool.
They were like brother shots.
I love that.
And they were like up on a platform, like right at Barclay Center, like raised above the audience. And they like did shots together.
I have two brothers, and I'll tell you, I've never done shots with them.
That's so sad.
And I can't imagine ever having been in a situation where I'd want to.
Do your brothers drink?
One of them does.
Okay.
But no, I just like it would freak me out. I'm never like I'm not like a boy's boy, like group of brothers. Like
So you were never trying to get your brothers to get drunk with you?
no, I mean they're all older than me.
That seems like that'd be cool.
To get drunk with them?
Yeah.
Nah, no. I was all because when I was getting drunk, I was trying to get drunk.
I thought you were gonna say I was trying to get pussy.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to hang
Trying
out
to
with
get-
a bunch of dudes.
Trying to get pussy
related
from
to
my
me.
brothers. Is that a Jonas Brothers song? Trying to get pussy from my brothers? Yeah.
It's like a B-side.
Robert Downey Jr. God, sober. He's sober now.
He is. I
He's
know.
a great sober person.
He is.
When he's
a
really
hero.
really inspiring to see what he's done since getting sober.
I agree.
He got pulled over naked in a red Porsche
Sure.
with a handgun on his lap. Wow. And I think that is really
Just
cool.
where his like on top of his dick.
Just covering his penis.
What a guy.
Yeah.
And he came back from that.
I know, and he was listening
And he's
to
an
Imagine
Oscar winner.
Dragons during that. They hadn't come out with any music yet, and he somehow
what
had
year
it.
was this?
He somehow had it.
He had their demo tape.
Yeah, it's very cool.
His return to his life and career and his to hear him discuss sobriety and getting clean and stuff is really amazing.
Yeah.
Him and Jamie Lee Curtis, and there was an actors on actors thing with Jamie Lee Curtis and Colin Farrell a couple years back.
Yeah.
And they talked about sobriety and it was really lovely.
I love how Colin Farrell talks about it. I remember him referring to it as, I think, putting the jug down. And I think about that. I'm like,
putting the jug down.
I put the jug down. He's like, I had to put the jug down. He also was addicted to Molly, which is
he really?
really cool. It produced one of the greatest celebrity sex tapes of all time.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, where he is just eating pussy, POV style, which you don't see a lot of male sex tapes like that. I think his head is shaved because he's filming Daredevil at the time. He's got a little goatee. And he was just rolling balls and was like, I'm gonna munch box on camera with this rando that I met at Saddle Ranch.
Are we saying muff dive still?
We are saying muff dive. We're saying it
That's
all.
Muff Dive conjures bush.
Rob Lowe's goatee in Californication.
Yeah.
Rob Lowe, another sober person.
And Californication starring David
David
Duchovny, recovering sex addict.
Sex addict, that is true.
Hot?
Is it he hot?
Is it hot that he's a sex addict?
It is hot.
I think it's pretty hot.
But he's going through a lot, I can tell. I used to
I
get
saw him present at the SAG Awards last night. I was not there. I was watching it.
I used to get coffee at the same place as him in Santa Monica, and they would call out David, and often we would mistake each other's coffee orders. And once
he didn't go by Mulder.
Once I'm waiting for my coffee, and he's with a woman, and they're talking, and I hear him say, he's like telling her a story about how he just drove to San Jose and he couldn't get out of his car on the road. And he's like, so I got my dick in an Evian bottle and I'm letting it go in there. And he's just pissing in a bottle and threw it out the window.
We've all been there.
Yeah, we've all been there. And I was like, buddy, we could have sold that bottle.